Hello and welcome to The Nation. I'm Jessie CHAHAL. In this edition, I deep dive into a deep-rooted friendship built on historical ties, cultural connections and a shared vision for progress. That is between Malaysia and Turkey. Now, recently, between the 10th till the 11th of February 2025, Malaysia hosted an official visit by His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the President of the Republic of Turkey. Now, the question is, what does this partnership entail beyond just official agreements? And how does it impact both nations on the global stage, as well as what opportunities lie ahead for us? Joining me today in the studio to unpack the key drivers behind this growing partnership and what it means for the future of the Malaysia-Turkey relationship is His Excellency SAZALI Mustafa KAMAL, Ambassador of Malaysia to the Republic of Turkey. Welcome, Mr. Ambassador. It's good to have you here.
Hi, Jessie. Thank you for having me here.
One of the key highlights from the recent visit was that Malaysia, as the current ASEAN chair, has proposed that Turkey be included as an ASEAN a dialogue partner. Now, that's really a good starting point, but also from there on, how would you assess the current state of bilateral relationship between both nations, and are there any new areas of cooperation that's being explored?
Thank you, Jessie. The question, I'll try to answer the second question first. The state of relations between our two countries is at a very good level at this point. Following the visit, we have seen a lot of developments, a lot of understanding between our leaders and our two governments. The question here is when the government of Malaysia would be willing to support Turkey's interests to become an ASEAN dialogue partner is something that shows that we are engaging Turkey in a very constructive way in helping itself to be closer to Southeast Asia and Asian as a whole. Turkey has been aspiring to be an ASEAN dialogue partner for quite some time. They have been trying to engage with ASEAN countries over the past few years under what they call as a permanent, active cooperation with ASEAN, where they engage ASEAN countries with activities so that they would bring closer to the ASEAN countries. They have also established embassies in all ASEAN countries ever since becoming sectoral partner in 2017.
So we do see that they are interested and want to expand their presence here in ASEAN as well as in Asia. Does Malaysia see this as an opportunity? Are we helping Turkey to integrate into the ASEAN-Asia setting and market?
Yes, definitely. Turkey sees itself, Turkey noticed that the 21st century is the Asian century. It has introduced what it calls the Asian Anew policy back in 2019. The policy drives Turkey to come closer to Southeast Asia and ASEAN as a whole, Asia Pacific as a whole. Given the fact that the strategic nature where the shift of power has shifted from the Western world to Asia, Turkey sees opportunity in Southeast Asia and the Asia Pacific region as well. And definitely, with the announcement made by our government to assist Turkey in becoming an Asian dialogue partner, we are trying to integrate, we are trying to fulfill that aspiration from Turkey to be part of ASEAN as a dialogue partner.
There are also whispers that Turkey is seeking deeper security alliance, economic alliance within ASEAN as well. Is this something that Malaysia as a nation welcomes?
The decision for what Turkey has been looking at is also to be part of the Asian Defense Ministers circuit. So it sees itself as able to provide policy guidance, engagement, and of course, technology to ASEAN countries. It sees itself as a country that is emerging in the Central Asian region because it is located at a very strategic juncture. At this point, I believe the Turkish initiative should be welcome, and Malaysia is welcoming its initiative to be closer to ASEAN at this point.
Do you think so far that there has been any sort of misconception about Turkey, misconceptions that Malaysians may have about the country, or even vice versa? What could those be?
Well, in my engagement with Malaysians and how they see Turkey, they have always portrayed a very positive view of Turkey. The country has an excellent leader, a leader that is able to speak openly about how it feels about the global situation. One such subject matter President Erdogan has uttered before was, the world is larger than five. That whole theory of him that the world should be governed jointly by the rest of the world has been accepted widely. Malaysians have a very positive view of Turkey given the fact it has a very rich history throughout the Muslim world, and you can see this through exchanges of businesses, people-to-people interaction, and the growing propensity for tourism between our two nations.
If I could probe a little further, Mr. Ambassador, during your time there, what has been some of the difficult conversations that you've had to have, perhaps behind closed doors? What has been some of those challenges?
Well, some of the things in any relations, of course, there are positive developments, and there are those which needs further attention. One of them is the work towards achieving better understanding. Some of the challenges that I face has been quite normal. They include language, linguistic barrier, culture, and as most important thing is geography, the geographical distance between Malaysia and Turkey. These are some of the things, some of the obstacles. They are not insurmountable. They require attention. They require a bit more dialogue to forge better understanding between our two peoples and two cultures.
The MTFTA, that's been in place for some time. You reiterated earlier before we came on this interview that at 2014 it was when it was incepted, but also in 2022 there were some updates in terms of expansion. How has this been successful so far? What are some key points from this?
Well, the MTFTA was forged at a time where Malaysia and Turkey were aspiring to grow stronger in terms of trade. At the time, we were aspiring to reach trade volume to about 5 billion, and to do so, we need to remove a lot of the trade barriers and taxation primarily. The implementation of the MTFTA began on the 1st August of 2015. Yes, it requires a bit more tweaking given the fact that the growth of new fields of the economy. The expansion included the services sector, e-commerce, and the other one was investment. These are the three new fields included in the MTFTA, which both sides welcome very well.
Now, with the country being a gateway between Europe and Asia as well, can Malaysia leverage on this strategic area for greater trade access? Are you seeing much movement within the discussion there?
Yes, we are already doing it to be precise. Malaysia has already invested in the management of the Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen Airport, which is the second largest airport in Turkey. That is handling about 40 million passengers a year. Beyond that, we also have a smaller investment in terms of by Tenaga Nasional in the energy sector. Of course, there are Malaysian companies that has been using Turkey as a hub as well to go into Europe. So in all the conversation and the interaction that I have so far, it seems positive. And we would like this relation to go both ways. While Malaysia uses Turkey to go into Europe and the Middle East, Turkey can leverage its position in Malaysia into the Asia-Pacific region and ASEAN, definitely.
In terms of security, we have seen the projects like the AV-8 Gempita, the armored vehicle as well. Is this just a buy and sell sort of arrangement, or is Malaysia truly gaining strategic defense skills from Turkey? What's brewing in the defense and security area?
Let me give you a bit of a historical perspective of that. In 53 BC, the Romans were marching in a city called Karhai, that is just in southeast part of Turkey. And there they met the Parthians, for the first time, the Parthians. And that was the first time the Roman army was defeated by an unknown force. The Parthians were wearing what they call the cataphract, a fully armored cavalry from top to bottom. So if you look at this historical legacy, Turkey is located at a place where technological development has gained momentum since the Middle Ages and to modern times. I mean, the conquest of Constantinople in 1453 is another brilliant example of this rich historical legacy that also takes into consideration of technological breakthrough. Yes, within this context of defense technology, Turkey has making strides enormously over the past 30 years. In fact, I had the opportunity to visit one of the biggest technological achievement Turkey has made so far, the Khan stealth fighter that is being developed by the Turkish aerospace industries. Yes, we do have a lot of technology that we can gain through our interaction with Turkey, and those technology are mostly beneficial not just to the defense sector but also to the industry.
Right, you've hit that nail on the head there when you mentioned technology. Malaysia, we aim to be a high-tech nation in just under 5 years now by 2030. What are some of the areas or key learnings do you think we could adopt in terms of our economy and innovation drive? We're talking technology, things like digital and AI.
All right, I would approach in terms of spending more on research and development. Turkey spends about $12 billion on research and development alone. That was 2023, if I'm not mistaken. By 2024, it is spending about $15 billion on research and development. These are funds the government is channeling to universities, industries, companies, individuals who have the capacity to innovate. That is something that I think we can emulate in Malaysia, to put more into R&D.
We talk about the investment, as you've mentioned earlier. There has been some area of interest in terms of a goal that was set, a $10 billion goal in terms of bilateral trade. Using this point of time as a checkpoint, it seems like we're only halfway there, not really tapping the full capacity. What's stopping us from achieving this? Is it a lack of will? Is it red tape? Or is it just purely business reluctance?
I think the biggest challenge in terms of businesses and trade between our two countries is geography and language. Malaysians businesses tend to converse in English a lot more. Malaysian businesses tend to be more, more cautious when it comes to taking opportunities from then on. I would suggest Malaysian businesses to start exploring the possibility of collaboration. A lot of Turkish companies are interested in collaboration as well. Collaboration means Malaysian company and a Turkish company can come, form a combination or a merger or anything that comes to their mind, and then actually develop either product or explore new markets such as Africa or the Middle East. So I would suggest those are the things that we should consider to our private sector.
But we see as a nation, they are aggressively expanding, as you've pointed out as well, have big aspirations and intention to expand in Southeast Asia as well as Asia as a whole. Are we seeing, or why aren't we seeing more high-profile Malaysian investments in Turkey?
Well, I think the main problem has always been the difference in terms of doing business. I think Malaysians have a very clear policy direction under the guidance of our Prime Minister. And I think the Turkish side needs to do more in terms of promotion, in terms of explaining to possible businesses the potential of using Turkey as a manufacturing hub, as a gateway to Europe, Central Asia. And I think that's what we saw during the visit recently, when the Turkish side, with our side, hosting a business forum at the PICC. This is something that we Malaysians at the embassy in Ankara and our mission in Istanbul have been engaging on to promote Malaysia, to tell our side of the story. What are the attractions of doing business in Malaysia? And I believe they should do the same and do it more often.
What would you say are some of the attractions for Malaysians going in? What are the opportunities that do exist in a few sectors? You know, there's also palm oil to explore.
I would say tourism is another underexplored sector. The second one would be opening a manufacturing facility where you have good quality labor, or skilled labor to be precise, and it's easy access to Europe by land. That would bring down a lot of costs when it comes to exploring European market and the Middle Eastern market.
In terms of an exchange, we also know that Turkey is a powerhouse in terms of infrastructure, from bridges to high-speed rail as well. What can we learn from this development model, or is there more of a exchange that we're not quite seeing here in the forefront?
I think here the business sector, that is the construction sector, for instance, they could learn from the Turkish side on how to fulfill a certain contract within a very specific time. I have seen infrastructures being built in Turkey within a very short time. Within a short time, within the specified specification and within the specified cost. So I would say they have a very genuine capacity to construct, and their construction sector is a very much well-developed, well-funded and skilled sector.
And on that note, as we discuss infrastructure, construction, and being a hub, with global supply chains now sort of taking a shift with some of the global tensions, US and China, for example, does Malaysia and Turkey, or rather can these two forces come together to form sort of an alternative powerhouse or trade hub? Is there a plan for it?
Well, if I were to say there is such a plan, I have not seen it. But I say that it is something for us to explore. A dialogue can have an engagement between our two highest leaders and government.
And as we talk about what's going on in other parts of the world as well, what are some of the conversations from this recent trip about peace and especially what's happening in the Middle East?
Well, I'm happy to see that our leaders are both very strongly engaged when it comes to the situation in Gaza. Malaysia and Turkey have some very strong principled views when it comes to the Palestinian cause, especially on the establishment of a two-state solution with East Jerusalem as the capital of the Palestinian state, and of course a return to the pre-border of 1967 border. Those are principled views that our two countries share. What is even more excellent, what I've seen so far, is that when it comes to extending our assistance to the Palestinians, we have been going all out together. I mean, Turkey itself has, extended over 800,000 tons worth of assistance to the Palestinian people. We are doing no less as well.
Now, to divert a little bit, Mr. Ambassador, the media landscape there, it has faced some global scrutiny in the past over press freedom concerns. As a journalist, I must ask you this: does Malaysia share these concerns? Where are we in terms of, making a stand for press freedom?
I believe we both nations have respected the role of the journalists. Both countries have been giving a lot of attention to the safety and expediency to journalists. I don't see much beyond that. I'm happy to see that you have access to information available, and with the establishment of what Bernama has with its counterpart, Anadolu, I see no less freedom being infringed upon.
Which is also an MOU that has recently been signed. So another tick at the box there. In terms of exchange, 500 Turkish citizens roughly reside here in Malaysia, and around 400 Malaysian citizens live in Turkey. In terms of trade as well, we've seen that volume between both countries grow significantly from where it was in 2021 up to 24 billion in 2024. Tell us a little bit about what has influenced this, and again, how do we get to that ambition or goal of 10 billion?
I've always believed in, when it comes to trade and investment, I've always believed in strengthening people-to-people relations. I believe that that is the building block of diplomacy, to be precise. In the 21st century, it's about interacting with the local people. In this case, myself interacting with the Turkish people and vice versa. And I believe efforts should intensify when it comes to tourism. Of course, we have seen some increase in tourism activities. No less than 90,000 Malaysians visit Turkey annually nowadays. We have seen some increasing number of Turkish people visiting Malaysia, up to 21,000 up until December last year. Of course, this is another field that we believe that can be worked on. In terms of Malaysians residing in Turkey, to be precise, there are about 700. Those are those Malaysians who are residing and, of course, studying in Turkey. Yes, they do contribute a lot when it comes to understanding Turkey more. Language, the culture, and how the ease of doing business, and understanding how to interact with Turkish people. I would say those are the building blocks of a healthy trade and investment condition.
What would you say, aside from business and trade questions, Mr. Ambassador, what would you say is something that were on your work and understanding how people are? What has been similar to you in terms of both nations? What is it that you think, oh, this is very much Malaysian as well?
I would say we share a lot of historical legacy. If you look closely what President Erdogan gave during the public lecture, he said that relations within Turkey and the communities within the Southeast Asian region dates all the way back to the 16th century. That alone requires a lot more research. To be precise, there are thousands and thousands of Ottoman manuscript that is still has not been fully deciphered and studied. And those are one of the things which I believe have bring the two communities, Malaysians and Turkey, together. Beyond that, we do share some commonalities in terms of our beliefs in the Palestinian cause, and of course, we believe in bringing up our two nations closer together.
Mr. Ambassador, what has been your proudest achievement during your time there in terms of fostering better relations between both nations?
It is obvious the recent visit by the President of Turkey to Malaysia from 10th to 11th of February. I believe it is the icing on the cake. I believe it is, to me, a personal achievement, given the fact that we have worked very hard, myself, my officers at the embassy, and of course the countless of other officers from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, other government agencies who have put in the hours of work to make this happen.
Wearing that future lens right now, 5 years from now, what do you want to be able to say about Malaysia and Turkey in terms of jointly having achieved something or many things? What would make this partnership truly, truly meaningful?
Well, the partnership that we see today is what we call the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, which basically means we complement each other in a multifaceted of fields. I would like to see greater collaboration when it comes to between our two leaders, consultation between leaders when it comes to international matters. I would like to see our government work closely together when it comes to development of new technologies, be it defense, science, maybe even medical research. I would like to see more Malaysian students and Turkish students study in Malaysia as well, to develop greater understanding between our two different cultures and our two languages. And of course, I would like to see a lot more people understand that we are closely together, that we are returning back to some of the points that we have in history before.
That's right. I want to thank you for your time, Your Excellency. Thank you for coming into the studios here. As Malaysia and Turkey continue to strengthen their comprehensive strategic partnership in areas such as economic opportunities, cultural exchanges and defence partnerships, it is evident that this relationship holds great potential for both nations. With that, we conclude today's discussion right here on The Nation. I'm Jessie Chahal. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time with more in-depth discussions and conversations on topics that matter. Bye for now. Thank you.